Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday morning, January 3rd. Don't get used to seeing me every day just yet. But I had a couple of things I wanted to talk about that came out of that conversation that I had on the last day of the year, on the 31st, with my subscriber. And there were a couple of things that we were talking about, and I wanted to ask you your opinion or where you were with this or what your experience was or whatever. So the first one, somehow we got on the subject. Oh, I know what it was. I was talking about the guy that came into the office that was really mad last week. And my adrenaline, I didn't get an adrenaline rush from that. You know how when you get scared, something frightening happens and you get that jolt in your body and then you're like shaking because your adrenaline has let out. Well, we got on that subject and I said, I'm like, my adrenaline didn't even do anything. And then I said, and I don't notice it happening much anymore. And there was one specific incident in 2000, God, was it 10, 11-ish, something like that. I was doing flyer delivery for one of the agents in my office. I was still selling real estate, but I was helping him as kind of a side gig because it was after the market tanked in 2009. So I was doing a lot of different things to make money. And one of the things was delivering flyers around town and kind of like outskirts of town. And so before this happened, I don't know whether it was my guides that were kind of showing me this or if I've watched too many movies or what, but I kind of always had this vision or feeling that there was going to be some sort of a head-on collision for me. And that particular day, I was trying to turn into a parking lot. There was a truck in my way. He had stopped so I could turn into the parking lot, and there was a little Mini Cooper that come flying up the side. And I'm pretty sure she was kind of in the berm. She wasn't really in a turn lane, I don't think. I don't even know. I've been up there. This has been a long time ago. Whatever the case, my Impala hit her Mini Cooper on the back wheel well and spun her around completely. And for me, it literally felt like I had hit a curb. It didn't even break the headlamp in my car. It crunched up some of the metal on the corner. It didn't affect my driving. Of course, my car was like twice the size of hers, and it totaled hers because of where it hit. I think it jacked up the back end or whatever. I remember specifically after that happened, that thought of like, there it is. I had been kind of waiting on some sort of a head-on collision type thing, hit her, pulled into the parking lot, and noticed that my adrenaline had not been like pushed out into my body. I didn't get the shakes. I was very calm. It was like I run over a curb or something. No big deal. I think that is very strange. I think that is weird that I didn't get shook up from something like this. I also remember, now that I'm thinking about it, when I had book club, I don't know if I've ever talked about book club or not. I had a book club at the old apartment for a while, and some of us ladies went out to eat one night, and one of the ladies got choked. And it took 3 people, and thankfully we had a nurse at the table, but it took 3 people to finally get that piece of meat expelled from her. And I also remember that was another time my adrenaline did not kick up and kick in, and I was just like super calm, like I'm in an they call it observer position. I think we talked about that a lot in the Oneness Blessing, about removing yourself from like the 3D situation that's going on and watching it from afar and watching it in an observer position. So my question, I guess, to you is, have you gotten to that point? Can you think about the last time something happened that should have jolted you in such a way that you would have been, you would have felt that like jitter inside of you from the adrenaline, and nothing happened? So I'm curious if that has to do with awakening and not being down in the muck with everything and just kind of, pulling away and seeing the bigger picture of things. Is that why I'm able to do that? Or anybody down there, any of you guys out there who experience that? So that's my first question, is where are you at on that scale? Do you still get frightened, and if you about have a car accident on the interstate or something like that, does that adrenaline kick up, or are you calm, cool, and collected? So that's the first question. The other conversation that we had, and I don't exactly know how she asked the question, but it revolved around joy, and it was kind of like to the effect of, are we ever going to feel joy again, or something like that? And I was like, oh my God, that is a very good question, because I do think about that a lot. I wouldn't say I'm depressed. I do not feel depressed, but I notice that I don't have a lot of joy in my life. I'm like, I kind of feel pretty even keeled. Every once in a while I'll get a little bent out of shape, and I can kind of do a little self-counseling session with my higher self, I guess. And I can be like, all right, what's the problem here? Why am I feeling this? Why am I feeling this? What caused this? Where is this coming from? Da 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 da. And 5 minutes later, I've kind of figured out where that feeling that I'd like to go away, where it came from, what's causing it, and I can kind of scoot it out of the way pretty quick. So I don't suffer a lot from major negative feelings, because I can get those out pretty quickly. But also the thing that is missing is the happy, very happy, joyous moments. Those seem to be very far and few and far between. And I used to experience joy when I was younger. When I sold real estate, now I will say my emotions were very up and down. I was high and low and high and low and high and low. And maybe what we're supposed to experience now is a more even keeled and not so up and down in the emotional arena. If I think about it, I have experienced bits of joy in the last few years, but I feel like the last time I was really happy from the inside out was probably 2017. So I'm just curious to know where you guys are on that level too. Do you have specific people in your life that you brings you joy, so you get to see them? And I'm thinking probably kids and grandkids. I don't have kids or grandkids. I don't even have any animals. I'm like, I feel very limited in my life right at the moment. It's work and home, and finances kind of have me locked in to a very small little bubble right at the moment. So I don't know if maybe the reason I don't experience joy is because my little bubble is so small that there's just not enough stuff in there to make me feel joy, or what. So I am curious, how many of you have literally lost your joy? It has been gone for a while, and you do wonder if it's going to come back. Like I said, I don't feel depressed. I have been depressed before. When I am depressed, I cry a lot. I did that a lot in my 20s and 30s. I don't cry much at all these days. I might get a little weepy and feel a little weepy, but it doesn't. And again, that's one of those things I can go in. I can like, where's this coming from? Why am I feeling this? I can usually get that in and out pretty quickly, and the depth of it is minor compared to how it used to be. I would say now it's more like kind of numbness. I'm like numb to everything. I mean, if I'm not getting bent out of shape when someone's choking to death, or when I'm having a smack in a car and spinning it around, that's kind of being numb, isn't it? I don't know. You tell me. So I'm very curious where you guys stand on that, how you feel about it, what your opinion is. Is this something that you think about, or is it something that you don't think about, or like, I can't go there because it's going to get me upset or whatever. So anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about today. And good to be back. I feel like I'm kind of back to my old self and getting in the flow again. So hopefully this, you guys inspire me. And a lot of times that's what happens, is like I do a video, you guys mention something, that brings the next video. And so I think that's what happened with my 2-hour conversation on Sunday, is that spurred some inspiration in me. And now I've got stuff to talk about, because I felt like I didn't have anything to talk about or anything to add there for a while, because I was feeling, I'm like, I got to get out of the holidays and get away from that confinement and all these happy people, because I am not happy about Christmas, and get to feeling better. Like I said, I started taking my vitamins again. Oh, this is interesting. You might be interested in this. For any of you guys that are feeling super, super tired, one of the reasons I think so many people feel very tired right now is stress. And stress will suck the life out of you. So because I have a very good relationship with my guides, I was sitting there one day and I was like going, oh my God, why am I so tired? And they literally like hit me with lightning on what I needed to do. I don't know where the book went. I've talked about this book before. It's 10 days to 2 weeks from tired to terrific, natural energy, or something like that. And I found that book back in like 2004, 5, 6-ish, something like that. I had just kind of come out of a depression, and I felt like I was going in another funk. And I was like, oh my God, I cannot afford to go into another funk. And I went to the library. I found that book. They have like little energy packs that you use, L-carnitine, glutamine, CoQ10, magnesium, different things. It's basically when I started using supplements and vitamins and realized there was a value to it. So she gave these like little power packets to use, and then she had like 8 questions. If you feel this, if you feel this. I had all of them. I had all the problems. And so I started using that, and within a couple of weeks, I could feel an uptick in my energy. I have gone to that book many times over the years. And that day that I had sat down with the guides, and I was like, why am I so tired? And basically they kind of shot that into my head. I'm like, you need to go purchase those vitamins and start taking those. And then I was like, yeah, probably true. I mean, I have been under a lot of stress in the last year or so. And the last time I did that little vitamin pack was right after I had COVID, and that was in 2021. So if anybody is interested in knowing more about that and feel like they need an energy boost that happens relatively quickly, you got to be able to take vitamins and stuff. I mean, this is kind of my thing that I go to. It works. I've had it work many, many times. So anyway, I think that's it. I will catch up with you later. Bye.